So today I'm going to go over my view on comparing a HE Ultimate pedal with a Simagic Haptic on it for the brake versus the Simucube Active Pedal for the brake. So on my left, I've got the Simucube pedal, and on the center, I've got the HE Ultimate with the haptic you can see added to the back. And I was able to mount that haptic to the back of the HE Ultimate without any other, third-party products. It was just a way to invert part of the bracket so that it could mount on the side of the pedal, and it works fine. So let me just tell you how I've got these configured. Here is the HE Ultimates on the left and the Simucube on the right. I have to run a really soft pedal because I have torn plantar in my left foot. It's basically the arch. I actually mainly do right foot braking right now, but for today I'll do a little bit of left foot braking so we can compare, but I can't do many laps. Anyway, so I've got it soft, but I'm used to this softness now, and I wish, to be honest, I'd started at a softer pedal because I'm just as fast with the softer pedal as I am with a harder pedal, and I don't abuse my body as much. Maybe I've got them configured at 32 kilograms, maybe 40 to 50 kilograms is more optimal, but I can't really sustain that, so I have a bit less. But I'm just as quick with 32 kilograms on the Huesinkveld as I am with 60, 70. So I often run a linear pedal, but I've been experimenting with a little bit of trail off at the top part just to not exceed too much. But honestly, my pace isn't that different. In fact, I'll just move this up for now. So the on the right side, I've got 36 kilograms, but if you look at this line here, even though it says 36.6, this top line here indicates the actual brake pedal pressure. It stops at, like, you get to 100% at 31 kilograms. So it's pretty close in terms of weight. I've noted that I actually measured the output of the HE Ultimates at each stage. How many kilograms? Like I would go like, sorry, where's this pedal? This pedal. So at 20%, how many kilograms am I getting? At 30%, how many kilograms am I getting at 40, 50? And it's actually a completely linear line when you graph it, which was surprising because in their book it says it curves up, but when I actually map the data, it's completely linear. So on the right, I probably should make this pedal, the Simucube, completely linear, but I don't, because I just to get it to feel the way I want it to feel. I like that little bit of kick up at the end to know when I'm reaching the 80% or whatever it is. Anyway, so in terms of ABS setting, which is what we're going to talk about mainly today, this is what I've got configured on the Simucube. It's around 12 hertz, 36% and 44% smoothness. Everybody has their preferences. I like a slightly slower pulsing feel. I think that's more realistic of a real car. If it's too quick, it doesn't feel like a real car to me. And I've set up, I should have preloaded this, the SimHub software. One moment, please. So the SimHub, I need to go find it. I've got it set to, here, I've got it set to 50%. And the total output I've got set, the overall output up 60%. So this is the intensity. And if you go to here, I think it is, yeah. I've got the hertz at 15 hertz, which is not too dissimilar to here at 12. It gives it pulsing. I mean, they're pretty close. I've just got ABS on, but you can turn on the what's it called, wheel lock, which is something I can talk about later. But at the end of the day, my thoughts are that the HE Ultimate pedal gives me a very similar feel with the Simagic Haptic as the Simucube Active Pedal. So much so that I'm actually contemplating selling my Simucube pedals. That's a lot of money I could put towards another PC or something, and I do need to upgrade my PC to run these monitors. So I don't know. I haven't decided. I don't get me wrong. I love my Simucube pedals. They're an awesome pedal. But for me, the way that I've got things set up, they feel pretty damn similar. And I'm questioning whether or not for me, there's a value in the Simucube. Yes, you have the ability to set all the settings via software, which is very nice, especially since I was healing my arch. It allowed me to experiment quickly with different pressures, and I found that quite valuable. But most people don't have that situation. Or if you like to mimic different brakes from different cars, certainly that's way easier on the Simucube. The one thing that you can do with the Simucube you cannot do with the HE pedals or most load sub pedals is you can separate the distance of travel of the pedal. Where is it? Where's the software? There it is. So you can separate how much travel you want. I've got mine at 27 millimeters, completely from the force required. So I go to 48. It's the same force, but it's just a much longer pedal. And if I go back to 27, it's the same force, just a much shorter pedal. Now, in terms of the force, the distance that each pedal is traveling, so that's the Simucube, and that's the HE. So I've got them pretty much set up very similar in terms of throw and feel, so that I can transition between the two and do a fair comparison side by side. But for sure, the Simucube you can make feel like any pedal, so that's its big advantage. But the HE Ultimate, in my opinion, has a lot of flexibility as well. Right now, I've got the soft default rubbers on the HE Ultimate. I used to run the hard ones. I used to have a really hard pedal, but I won't be doing that again because of my arch. Anyway, so lap time wise, I am identical between the two. There's no difference. And feeling wise, I was curious because one of my mates told me that the Simucube has access to an API in iRacing that only Simucube has access to. I was wondering if maybe that gave it some sort of advantage, because the Simagic Haptic uses, well, I'm using SimHub. I believe there's some Simagic software too, but I get the data from SimHub. And SimHub also accesses telemetry data through an API in iRacing. Presumably that is a different and separate API than what Simucube is using, but I don't know that for sure. The API that Simucube accesses goes into what's called an in-memory file, and that in-memory file gets updated every 1/60th of a second, so 60 times a second. So that's pretty quick, and I know that the Simucube is on the same cycle, so it's also 60 times a second. So I don't think it's getting data any more quickly, is the whole point of all this discussion, in Simucube than it is in Simagic. So to test that theory, I actually drove around the track with the Simucube as my active brake. I just held my foot on the HE pedal, not as a brake because it's not registered as a brake in the game, but simply as just resting, because even though I'm not pressing the pedal, I've got it set up so that it will vibrate the ABS when the car is in ABS. So basically, I'm engaging the ABS by using the Simucube, and I can feel it through the HE pedal. But I did this for one purpose, and the purpose was to see do I feel the ABS engage sooner on one pedal over the other? And the answer is no. I drove around the track, and I could feel the vibration engage in both feet at the same time and stop both times at the same time. So maybe there's a difference, because Simucube has apparently this proprietary API that only Simucube has access to with iRacing, but I couldn't feel the difference. Now, I've also been told that the Simucube Active ABS pedals is a more progressive, in that it gets more intense the more you're into the ABS. That may be the case. I'm not really feeling that. And there's nothing in the software here that allows you to control that. Like there's frequency, there's intensity and smoothness, but there's nothing here about the degree to which you're in ABS. I'm not saying it's not there, but I don't feel it necessarily. But other people that I've talked to that use this pedal say they do feel it. So that could be something that's absolutely there. But at the end of the day, you know, if you have the money, the Simucube is the more flexible pedal. But I can tell you, having compared them back to back, that the whatever your load cell favorite is, the Simagic or VRS or HE or whatever you like, Simtrek, you put one of these on, and in my opinion, you're getting 97% of the value that you get out of 97 is a arbitrary number. The vast majority of the value you get out of a Simucube pedal. For, I think this kit cost me, I think it was $300 all in. So I bought the haptic, I bought the mount, I bought the power supply, and I bought the box that you plug it all into. And it was like about $300 Canadian, I think it was. So, you know, if you've got a set of pedals and you want an option that has ABS, I highly recommend it. It's really quite astonishing how good it is. I'm going to do a lap here. I think I've got the HE pedal set up. And you'll see in the graph, I don't know if you can see, you probably can't see it, but in this graph up here, you can see the ABS go up and down. Note the distance to which it goes up and down. One thing I will notice is the distance it travels up and down is pretty small. And then if I switch over to the ABS on the Simucube, just give me a second here. Yeah, wrong one. Just set up the Simucube pedal. That's the Simucube. I'll do the same thing on the Simucube, and we'll see if there's a difference in terms of how much the ABS shows up on the graph. But quite a bit different. So in that sense, there is a difference in feel, and you can see the lines are smaller or bigger, and that would lend credence to the idea that you can feel a difference of intensity. So let me get slightly into the ABS. Now it's still the same, so you see that how much the line goes up and down there. And then I'm going to be really into the ABS. Like, in fact, the more I'm in the ABS, because it's maybe going quicker, it doesn't go up and down as much, probably because it's pulsing more quickly. And maybe that's what my friend was talking about, is it pulses more quickly. That's maybe what he meant by intensity. So there is that little difference. But I mean, come on. The fact is, you're getting the same information. Hey, I'm in the ABS, and I don't think it matters too much. Like, I don't think you're gonna be able to distinguish too much between, you know, a high frequency response or a low frequency response. Maybe a little bit if you're as good as my mate is at driving. Maybe he's better at sensing that than me. But let's just go back to the other one. See if there's any sort of variance in the ABS on this one. So I'll just get lightly into it. No, I didn't get into it at all. Yeah, I only got into it at the very end there. And the lines are pretty small. Now I'm going to get into it really hard and see if there's, like the jaggedness was very, very tiny and very, very small. Let's see if it gets a bigger jump up and down if I get into it really hard. I don't think it will, but let's see. No, it's the same. So the up and down, and that could be affected by the software and how I got it configured. No, I don't want that. I want the Simucube software. Sorry, SimHub software. And maybe there's a way to increase the intensity. So I've got it 15 hertz. And then go up to the effect. You can test it here. Now the duration pulse, maybe I could increase that. But if I increase this to 100%, what does that do? Let's try that. I certainly feel it more, but I want to see if it changes the way the graph looks. Yeah, so the graph goes up and down. So the bottom line is I think you can get, and I'll increase this one here at the top too. I think you can get it to feel as abrupt. But I don't think it changes the, like you can statically change the amount of distance that the line goes up and down by increasing the intensities of these things. But it doesn't seem to vary the intensity, you know, the more you're into the ABS, and that's probably what my mate was talking about. When, you know, when you're a little bit into the ABS, the line it's a slower pulse, and the is it attenuation that goes up and down? I don't know if that's the right word. The distance it travels up and down is further, but the more you're in the ABS, the more rapid it gets, and the distance it travels is less. So that's probably the difference that he's talking about. And that's probably something unique to the API and that Simucube has. But honestly, I mean, I don't really, I mean, in driving sense, I don't think it's worth it. It's nice to have, sure, but you want to spend all that money for that? I don't know. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on these pedals, and I have a decision to make. I got to decide if I want to keep the Simucube pedals or just go back to using HE with the haptics. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be my answer. I don't really want to get rid of my Simucube because, you know, I like them. But, you know, the rational side of my brain is going, but come on. I mean, that's a lot of money that I could free up for other things that I might want to buy. So anyway, I think the answer would be, for me, if you've got a load cell, go spend the $300, get this on your load cell, and you'll be basically the same or almost the same as the feeling you get as from the Simucube. You don't have any delay. Maybe you don't get the attenuation differences, or intensity differences, the more you're into ABS, but it's a small difference. Yeah, you don't get all the flexibility of setting up the pedals like you do in Simucube, and that's of value, don't get me wrong, but from a pure ABS point of view, these are damn good. So hopefully that helps. Have a good day. Cheers.